Well, hello everyone and welcome to Moementum channel. My name is Mo, and in this weekly series of stock market investing through the Wealthsimple Trade account challenge, we are on week number 4. In this video, what I'm going to do, we're going to start off by sharing with you what is one or multiple new stocks that I'm looking into investing in the week ahead. We'll also take a close look at our stock performance in our portfolio over the past 1 week, whether we have had any deposits to our account, whether we had any buys or sells. We'll go through those, as well as we'll take a look at our dividend income over the span of the past 1 week. One of the questions that one of our viewers provided in the comments that they provided in the last video was around the timeline that we have in mind for getting this portfolio from the mere $5,000 all the way to $250,000, and what's the time frame that you're dealing with. Now, purposefully, I had not indicated a time frame for this just because I have multiple stock investment portfolios, whether it's active investing as well as passive investing. But that question really stood out for me, and I wanted to commit myself to a certain time frame because, what's the point of having a SMART goal without having a time-bound aspect to it. So with that being said, for this portfolio, the goal that we are going to set is within the next 8 years, we are going to get to a $250,000 in terms of the portfolio size. That's the goal that we are aiming for, and let's see how we do. And really, we're going to commit ourselves and provide that progress every single week. Now, that question also raised for me an important aspect, which is I do not invest only through active investing in the stock market. In fact, I have my stock investment portfolios with a number of brokerage accounts, including Wealthsimple Trade, as we are talking about and going to take a look at, but also through Quest Trade and Interactive Brokers. Now, I do not necessarily talk much about those, but I decided that I'm going to introduce this new series as well, going over my stock investment portfolios and investment portfolios, in fact, with Wealthsimple Invest, which is a passive way of investing in the stock market through quality index funds. And that's a large portion of my investment as well. So I will be introducing those new series. So stay tuned for those series to get started very soon on this channel. But for the focus of this video, let's get into this and see how we are doing over the span of the past 1 week. All right, so let's take a close look here and see how our stock investment portfolio with our non-registered account here in Wealthsimple Trade has done over the past 1 week. You see that last week was a good week for us. All those dollar cost averaging that we tried to take advantage of actually is starting to pay off. And we had a positive 2% return over the span of the past 1 week. The value was up by $271.29. If you look at the last trading day, the 1-day return, it was also up by about 1% or about $171. The past 1 month return is showing a positive 3% return or about $449 gain. 3 months return is showing a 8% return or about $1,236. And the 1 year return is still very decent. It's showing a return of positive 44% for this account. Before I dive deeper into the various holdings that we have within this account and our stock buys and sells potentially, as well as any dividend income, I wanted to take a close look at one stock that I'm considering to buy and add to my position over the span of the next week. And this is an ETF. In fact, it is called HCLN, Harvest Clean Energy ETF, ticker symbol HCLN. It is traded on Toronto Stock Exchange. So if we buy it through the Wealthsimple Trade, there's not going to be any conversion fee there, nor any commission fee. That's one of the things we love about it. The reason I want to buy and pick up shares of HCLN gradually over time is the fact that I'm very positive about the future of clean energy. I think with the climate change happening and the more and more investments from different governments, from different companies into the domain of clean energy, there lies a huge opportunity here. And I think there is a growth potential for an ETF like this that invests, in fact, in a number of quality companies. So this ETF invests in 40 different equities and companies, and they are more or less equally weighted. If you look at the details here, I'm going to show you some of the things that, for instance, in terms of the companies, the key companies that they're invested in, you'd see that some reputable renewable power generation companies, including Ørsted, Solaria, Brookfield Renewable. We have other companies such as TransAlta Renewables. We have Meridian, Ormat, and a number of others. And these are all companies from various geographic distributions. So it's not just US companies. In fact, if you look at the geographic allocation, you notice here that about 29% or 1/3 of the investments are in companies from US, but you also have other ones such as 12% Canada, 17% from China, 5% Germany, 9% New Zealand, 2% Austria, and United Kingdom, Spain, and so on and so forth. Also, in terms of subsector allocation, you're investing into this ETF in renewable power generation, wind equipment, solar equipment, hydrogen and fuel cell equipment, battery, as well as some cash assets and other liabilities, which is a much smaller portion of that, of course. Now, in terms of the potential, if you look here as well, in terms of growth across renewable solar and projections, now you notice that according to the data from ourworldindata.org, the projection is how the hydro, wind, solar, and other energy is going to grow in terms of the net worth electricity generation from these renewable sources. So there's huge potential, as you can see, in how it's going to grow. The solar is steadily growing, same goes for wind and hydro, as shown here on this slide. So that's one ETF that I would be adding to my positions over the span of the next week, and gradually over time I would like to add more to my shares. And so stay tuned for the next week's update and see how we get to actually pick up some of those shares. But you notice here that we do have still 6 shares of Apple. It is showing the all-time return of 6%. We have 2 shares of Blink showing the overall return of 33% plus. Bristol Myers, we still have 7 shares and it's showing a 21% plus return. Bank of Nova Scotia, we have 13 shares and it's showing a positive return of 25% plus. We have 3 shares of Salesforce. It is showing a positive 6.82% return. If we move on, we'll notice that we now have picked up shares of Corsair and we have 9 shares. It's showing currently a return of negative 8%. Emerge Arc FinTech Innovation ETF, we have 7 shares and it's showing a negative 2.2%. Over the span of the past week, we have managed to narrow down on our negative returns, and it's because this ETF is these series of ETFs from Emerge are actually doing better here. We've made a video about these Emerge ETFs, that they are actually equivalent to ARK Invest ETFs, but they are available in Canadian dollar currency. So be sure to check out that video if you haven't done so already. EAGB or Emerge Arc Genomics Biotech, we have 17 shares. Emerge Arc Global Disruptive Innovation ETF, we have 28 shares and it's showing a negative 3.79% return. Moving on, we have Gilead Sciences, and here we have 4 shares. It's showing a positive return of 3.67%. Jet Global Crossing Airlines, we have 13 shares showing a negative 12% return. Neolithium Corporation, 62 shares showing a positive 7.79% return. Pfizer, we have still our 20 shares and it's showing a positive 12% return. Palantir Technologies, we still have our 10 shares. It's showing a positive 4.86% return. Qualcomm, we have 8 shares. It's showing a positive 13.91% return. Real Matters is one of those companies that we've continuously adding to our shares. We've picked up more shares this week and we have now a total of $145 shares, and it is showing a negative 9.79%. We've managed to narrow down our negative returns by bringing down our dollar cost average. Royalty Pharma, we are now at a negative territory. We have 29 shares. It's showing negative 1.74% return. Royal Bank of Canada, we have still our 5 shares showing a positive return of 16.82%. Toronto Dominion Bank, another Canadian bank we have here, and we have 6 shares showing a positive return of 22.17% return. Moving on, we have Vanguard FTSE Canadian Capped REIT Index. We have 12 shares now, and it's showing a positive 8.37% return. Verizon, we still hold our 10 shares, and it's showing a positive 4.60% return. And the last 2 ETF here, we have 2 index funds, XDV or BlackRock Canada iShares Canadian Select Dividend Index ETF. We have 5 shares. It's showing a positive return of 17.22%. And lastly, XIT, which had really narrowed down in terms of the return for us because the price has dropped, but it's actually gained some of that. We have now 14 shares and it's showing a positive return of 5.23% return. So that there we have our overview of our stocks in our portfolio, different stock index funds and ETFs, and their returns by the end of the last trading week. Now, as you know, Friday and Monday are off days because of the Good Friday and Easter. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate this occasion. We are going to take a closer look now at our deposits over the span of the past week and how much money we actually deposit into our accounts. All right, so if you look at our deposit, you notice that we have deposited $120 on April 2nd, $25 on April 1st, as well as $200 on the March 28th. So these are our deposits over the span of the past week. Now, let us take a close look at our dividend income and how much dividend we earned over the span of the past 1 week. All right, so if you look at our dividend income, you notice that on March 31st, we earned 45 cents from XDV. We also earned $3.60 from Gilead Sciences, and that wraps up our dividend income from the last 1 week. Now, we did not have any sales whatsoever in our account over the span of the past 1 week. Let's take a close look at our stock or ETF buys over the span of the past 1 week. You notice here we bought 1 share of EARK for the price of $22.26. We bought 1 share of Real Matters at the price of $14.53. We bought 2 shares of Real Matters as well for the price of $14.51. Now, moving on, we bought 1 more buying of Real Matters shares. We bought 2 shares at the price of $14.50 this time. We bought 1 share of EAGB at the price of $24.53. We bought 1 share of EARK at the price of $22.51. And that pretty much wraps up our purchases of the stocks or ETFs over the span of the last 1 week, as you notice here on the screen. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick update into our stock investment portfolio with Wealthsimple Trade and our weekly challenge to grow this account from a mere $5,000 all the way to $250,000, as we talked about, within the span of the next 8 years. I hope you found this video beneficial and you gained something of value from it. Hopefully it kind of inspired you to consider investing in the stock market and really capitalizing on this great avenue to generate wealth and, of course, passive income, both through the value of the dividend income that you earn, as well as the appreciation in the stocks or any of equities that you own in your portfolio. Let me know if you own any of these ETFs or stocks in your own stock investment portfolio. I would love to hear from you, so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. What do you think of the stocks that I have in my portfolio, and whether what are those stocks that you are considering to add to your portfolio in the stock market this upcoming week? I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section of the video. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you gained something of value from this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Moementum channel. Here on Moementum, we post weekly various videos about the stock market investing, finances, and financial freedom. With that, thank you so much, guys, and I hope to see you next time.